What's going on, my people? Good evening. Had to come do a pull up before I go to class here in a few minutes. And let me know, do you want to talk about this more when I get out of class? Let me know in the comments. Um, Boosie, VladTV negotiations. Is it business or is it personal? Sorry for the win in that bell because we're on a college campus. If it don't do the noise canceling in my glasses, we'll see. But let me know the Boosie Vlad TV negotiation. Is it business or is it personal? Taking a negotiation class last summer and through my own living, I've made a determination in my mind that there is a difference between how you feel and what's business. Sometimes you have to be careful not to mix the two. Sometimes you have to be careful to understand when to use what tool in negotiation. So with that being said, Boosie claims that he asked Vlad for 5 more thousand. Vlad claims that he couldn't justify paying him 5 more thousand. He would take a loss. He wouldn't make any profit. So being objective from a business standpoint, this is what gets a lot of people uh, riled up. When you're objective and you don't take sides, you see both sides. You have to be able to keep cooler heads prevail, and you have to be able to look at it from a realistic standpoint. It's okay to feel that you're worth a certain amount. It's okay to feel, what your value is, but the question is, can you negotiate that? Can you get that in business? A lot of times when you're negotiating, whether for a job, whether you're dating, any kind of thing where value or transaction is exchanged, it's all based on value. What's your value? Um, he may have wanted that, and who's to say he's not worth that? But if the other person is not willing to pay you that, then what do you do when you're negotiating, right? Listening to a couple of videos from Vlad, listening to some live streams from Boosie, it sounds like somebody, I don't know which one, somebody's using the media to try to sway the other person, kind of like using a court of public opinion. And when you're doing business, it can either work against you or work for you. Um, in my opinion, I don't see nothing wrong with him asking for another 5 grand, but that doesn't mean that he will get another 5 grand. What if he asks for 5 grand, but he give you 2 grand extra? And whether in sports, whether dealing with people in corporate world, or whether on YouTube, how do you justify when you ask for it? How do you justify that in business terms? Not how you feel, but how do you justify that in business terms? Did Boosie have his numbers to show Vlad? Not Vlad showed him the numbers, because Vlad said he showed him the numbers. He went home and ran the numbers. Did Boosie show Vlad the numbers, or did he just say, "This is what I feel like I'm worth"? Because I'm telling you, in business, that will get you in a bad spot every time, saying how you feel, but you don't have anything to back it up. It's just feelings, how you feel. In business, the more that you have to back up what you're saying, data wise and numbers, the more your case will be made, and it's harder to go against that. The more that you say you feel, but you don't have anything to back it up, the more they're gonna keep dragging the negotiations along, or they're gonna try to curve you a little bit, or they're gonna bring out their numbers. A lot of times when you're going off of feeling, you don't want to see the numbers of the other person. because you just saying this is what I feel like I'm worth regardless. But when we're talking about business, you're talking about money. The main purpose of a business is to make profit more than what you make. Make more than what you're spending, right? Just make it simple for you. If I pay somebody $500 for an interview, I'm gonna be expecting to make $1,000 or more back, just profit, right? Just, I'm just making an example. I wish I had the money to do that because I would do it, but I don't. But I'm telling you how business works. If you spend $500, you want to make more than $500 back in order to break even or make a profit. Vlad is saying that if I give you $35,000 for an interview or however much it was, I will make nothing. I would even, I'd be in a hole almost if I did that. And you can say that he made Vlad, or you can say Vlad made him. I think they both helped each other, in my opinion. They both helped each other. I think that not only did he bring people to Vlad, but Vlad also um, showed him to a lot of people because they both have a lot of viewers that watched him. But once again, personal and business, two different things. If you try to mix them together, it never works. I think Vlad is trying to maintain a relationship. He's trying to let it play out. And I think when Boosie took it public, it made it kind of personal. And he's still trying to stay business. And Boosie's kind of making it personal. Like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just looking at it from an objective place. And I'm trying to let people know that when you're doing business, you have to look at it without the feelings involved. You have to look at it from a business mindset. Um, some of the things that are being done, like he said in the interview with Whack 100, he said he tried to call him. He called him cheap, hung up the phone. He didn't want to answer the phone. He was dodging them. And it's kind of, everybody has different negotiation tactics, you know. Um, I think everybody's business acumen is a little different based on your own personal individual experience. And I think that when you're doing business, the more efficient that you can become and not get personal about things. Because just because you ask for it don't mean you're gonna always get it. Just because you feel like you're worth it don't mean you're gonna always get up to that point. We see it all the time in sports. A player think he worth 100 million, they settle at 90 million. Even at a job, you may think you worth 100,000, you may settle at 95,000. You know. And then if you think you're worth 100,000, how do you justify to that company that you're worth 100,000? And you know what? Sometimes you can be worth 100,000, but that company's not willing to give you the 100,000 for whatever reason. And I've learned that if they don't, that's their loss. But when somebody else comes along and make that offer, you can't get sour on the other side because you had the chance and somebody came and made the offer. That's why you see a lot of jobs have a lot of turnover, right? You see layoffs, but what they don't talk about is when jobs get top talent and they don't pay them to retain them. From a business aspect, another business is gonna say, "Hey, we can pay him more and bring him here." And guess what? There are some companies that'll say, "You know what? We can't afford to keep him, but it's been great having him here this long. But we understand you got to do what you got to do. All business, nothing personal, right?" So you have to always be aware, like you're a business, that person's a business, and you have to understand. Even I may not get the max, what can I get that we both can agree on, right? Just like with LeBron. LeBron, at the beginning of the year, they was saying LeBron value ain't that high. They was ragging on him. They said he wasn't that good, and he played it all the way out. Look out! Look where he is now. In my opinion, he may not have had the leverage at the beginning of the season, but he has leverage now. Luca and AR are out. They've been injury prone this whole year. LeBron has been there the whole time. LeBron is leading the team in the playoffs at 41, 42 years old. and he has leverage. Now, imagine if LeBron was injury prone or he wasn't leading the team, he would not have leverage, right? But now he's leading the team. They could possibly beat the Rockets. If they beat the Rockets, he's going to have going to the offseason with leverage because they weren't even predicted to beat the Rockets. Now, will the Lakers re-sign him still? Maybe not. Who knows? But some other team, I'm guaranteeing, is looking at that like, we could use that production here in the real world, right? There are some people that think when you're talking about men and women, right? They think they worth this much, but you never see them get it. You never see them. They want this certain man or this certain woman, but you never see them get that certain man or certain woman. You got to ask yourself why. Is the value, the expectations too high? Who knows? If you can look at life from a business standpoint and not make it so personal, a lot of things will open up to your eyes. Let me know in the comments what you think. This Boosie Vlad TV thing, is it personal? Is it business? Are they trying to mix the two? Is there miscommunication involved? Something's off. They said he was getting 25,000 an interview, something like that. 25,000 an interview. He was doing plenty of interviews. He even said he threw him an extra 5,000 to tour his home to make some more content around it. And you got to think about this, guy. Just from a business and realistically speaking, you can only do so many interviews, and at some point, it's gonna start to decline, right? It's going to. It's kind of like how many days in a row can you eat a hamburger, right? How many days? How many ways can you make a hamburger until you be like, you know what? I don't want a hamburger no more. Um, people are, and I know people hate to hear this, but if you look at the numbers, go look at the numbers. He's not getting those high millions of views like he was during COVID when everybody was at home. It's starting to go down a little bit because there's so much more to see and look at out there. But you have to be able to realize that from a business standpoint, that how do I reinvent myself in interviews, or how do I make it fresh to get those numbers back up? But at the same time, the numbers tell you a lot, whether people want to believe it or not. And like I say, learning how to do business without being personal will take you to a whole nother level. It will make you look at life totally different. It'll make you look at being in the corporate world totally different. How people run their business model totally different. 'Cause like I say, some people, when you get to a certain level, they can't afford to keep you no more. They know that. They may not tell you that, but they know that. Like, this guy is not going to be able to be with us too much longer. Somebody's going to come and grab him up because we can't afford to keep him because his value too high. Now you have to know that about yourself, and it's not personal. It's just they can't afford to pay you what your value is, and somebody else can. There used to be a time where you could work at a job for 30 years and never leave, and you would get raises, compensation based on your years of experience and service there. Those days are just about long gone. And it's almost like being in the NFL. You have to hit the free agent market and see what's out there and see if it's even worth, um, sticking your toe in the free agent water. But it's not personal, it's business. It's just how it works. Um, Executives do it all the time. If you go to LinkedIn right now, you can go look at CEOs. Some CEOs don't even be at companies more than about 2 or 3 years, and they go be a CEO at another company because they came and offered them more money. When you are in the corporate world and you turn a certain age, you get all your education and stuff done, it's all about taking care of business, taking care of your family, and making sure that when you retire, you got all that you could off the table. You didn't leave nothing on the table. Take that for however you may. It's business. It ain't nothing personal. But I'm telling you how it work, or another way to look at it. And let me know in the comments if we may do a pod tonight when I get home from class. It may be a little later in the night, probably around 8:39 or something. We talk about that Boosie situation, and is it business or is it personal? Where's the middle? Where's objective? Where's the middle? So with that being said, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. CTM TV, you can see right, CTM TV, and we signing out.